And as you can see, it's all about jobs right now in the White House, and the cabinet members whose job it is to oversee the U.S. labor market is Labor Secretary Hilda Solis. She joins us from our Washington newsroom. Madam Secretary, welcome to Bloomberg News, and thank you for helping us to conclude our series on the American job.
Thank you so much for having me.
Madam Secretary, the economy needs to generate about 150,000 jobs per month to meet the demands of those who are entering the workforce. Another 200,000 to 300,000 per month for the economy to gain traction. As you're no doubt aware, this year the private sector has created 90,000 jobs per month, well below that 150,000 level. The question I pose to you is, where are the jobs, and is it time for the administration to rethink its strategy?
Well, I can tell you that over the course of the last 7 months, we've actually seen 90,000 jobs each of those 7 months being created for over a total of about 630,000 jobs. And those jobs have been in private sector areas, in transportation and manufacturing and healthcare, IT, and other areas that you do see an uppeak that we didn't see a year ago or 2 years ago. And I would tell you that at one point we were losing 400,000 jobs at this same time. Now we're seeing an addition of jobs. It's not happening fast enough, and we know we have to bring people back in to start shopping again for jobs. And that's why we're trying to direct people to go to our one-stop centers that we administer throughout the country. There are about 3,000 of these job centers that are free, available to the public to give them information.
Madam Secretary, if I might, then
Yes.
Why does your message not seem to be resonating with the American public? There are poll upon poll that show the American public does not think that the administration is tackling these economic problems well.
Well, unfortunately, I get to report on these figures each month, so that's when you hear me come out with what the data reports for the previous month. We have been doing much in the Department of Labor, though, to expedite programs to help for those people that are dislocated workers, in particular the extension of the UI benefits, allowing those people to also draw down additional resources so that they could get into new retraining programs. But more importantly, trying to help incentivize small businesses to take advantage of some of the programs that we offer. For example, on-the-job training, we'll pay and subsidize up to 65% or possibly 90% to keep a worker on the job, and we will pay for their training. That's something that many small businesses are not taking advantage of. The new Hire Act that was passed recently gives an incentive for small businesses to pick up someone who's been unemployed for more than 2 months, and they get a tax credit for $5,000. People are not taking advantage of that yet.
Why not?
I think part of it is maybe some ambivalence. Some people aren't fully aware that these opportunities are out there. When I go out, and just 2 days ago I was in New Hampshire, I spoke to a group of entrepreneurs and they asked me, what are the things that you all are doing? When I started to lay them out, they were shocked. They go, wow, I didn't know about this. So we immediately gave them the information that they needed.
Well, but, you know, it's all well and good to give one person the information when you've spoken to them, but what are you doing about getting the message out more broadly?
Well, I'm going out as much as I can. I spend most of my time actually visiting different job sites. And I was in New Hampshire visiting Regeneration Plaza, where they've actually brought together 4 to 5 different entrepreneurs who are getting jobs created in renewable conservation and restoration of buildings. And I can see that as something that we know that this administration is vested in, trying to create new jobs so that we are energy independent, bring down the cost of our energy so that we can hire up and do other things with that money.
Madam Secretary,
yes,
if I can interrupt, I mean, doesn't it seem, though, a little disingenuous to say that the programs exist, it's just that people aren't taking advantage of them? I mean, if it just seems odd that that would be the whole problem. I mean, obviously there's a larger problem here that people just don't want to hire.
Well, I don't think that it's just that. I think that also there's a problem with people being able to access credit and financial assistance, and that's something that is out of my purview. But obviously we need to see more of our banking institutions providing more support so that people can use that credit so they can extend and hire up people. Those policies are not under my jurisdiction. My jurisdiction is to try to provide opportunities for employment. And keep in mind, I don't create jobs. What we do is provide opportunities for small business owners to tell us what kind of trained employees they need, and then we try to meet those two needs.
And Madam Secretary, if I might, you're a former member of the U.S. House of Representatives, formerly representing the 32nd Congressional District in California, that's East Los Angeles. Nationwide statistics for July show that the Hispanic or Latino unemployment rate's 12.1%. The rate for blacks or African Americans, 15.6%. Is that partly due to the hike in the minimum wage? Is it disproportionately affecting black and Latino youth?
I would tell you that what's happening is you're finding more people staying in the labor force. They're not moving on because there aren't a lot of job opportunities. So jobs that would typically maybe allow for someone to stay on for a short time and transition out, those people are hanging on to those jobs because we have seen a contraction in the labor force.
Right.
So it's harder to hire up a college student or a high school student when you have someone who maybe is not moving on, who's a bit older and has maybe more training.
Yes.
So that's kind of what's happening. Therefore, we need to have policies that will allow for more expansion for youth programs overall.
All right. Madam Secretary, stimulus, the jobs that the president says it created, where are they, and are those permanent jobs?
I would tell you that the jobs that I have seen created, let me give you an example. The automobile industry, we know that they were struggling there. There was a tremendous loss of jobs, over 250,000. We did see, because of investments made by this administration, the restructuring that occurred with Chrysler and GM, that now they've paid back their loans, and they've actually hired up about 55,000 new auto workers. Now, many of them are creating and developing new hybrid vehicles, lithium battery plants, all kinds of new incentives, new renewable energy ideas that are being brought into the marketplace. That's going to help us. That's where the jobs are going to be in the future.
All right. The Secretary of Labor, Hilda Solis, joining us today on Bloomberg News. Madam Secretary, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.